It's a great day for thoroughbred racing here in Hallandale Beach. We're off and running. Hope you're tied on. Little Saturday edition Gulfstream Today coming to you live from our paddock studios at Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti, Jason Blewett. Happy to have you with us, everybody. Settle in. Going to be a long one, but a good one here at Gulfstream Park. 12 races on the program today, but we are fast and firm and ready to roll, Mr. Nicoletti.
Been licking my wounds. Didn't have a very good day and beat the expert.
It was ugly.
It was ugly. I had a lot of seconds. They do not count.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend. Close, but no cigar. And congratulations to the 3 winners we currently are showing you here on Gulfstream today. And we say it just about every day. We're promoting our free Friday to Play contest over on our Gulfstream Park Facebook page. If you are one of those Beat the Expert winners, hit us up. Let us see.
Yeah, let us know. Send us an email or a text or get in touch on Facebook, and we can see.
Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
Right?
Twitter.
Hit us up with the old tweet, all right?
You think
give us a follow as well.
Okay.
All right, sound good?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's move on from Beat the Expert. And, of course, we keep building here a day at a time, and for good reason. The start of July also coincides with our biggest racing day throughout the summer meet here in Hallandale Beach at GP, and that is the 2017 Summit of Speed. 7 stakes, over $1 million on the line in purse money. A couple of win-and-you're-in Breeders' Cup races as well. And the irony is, it's all about the sprints, but it'll be a marathon-type day here next Saturday at Gulfstream Park.
14 races, a special 11:55 a.m. post, and the Princess Rooney Grade 2 and the Smile win and you're in races.
Looking forward to seeing 3 Rules do his thing. Looks like trainer Jose Pinchin is looking to cut that horse back in against straight 3-year-olds in the carryback stakes, and hoping 3 Rules can get back on track beneath Cornelio Velasquez, if Cornelio certainly has the call. Now, moving on to what's on tap today, we'll give you a little rundown as far as the wagering menu here at Gulfstream Park. Fast and firm conditions as we kick off a non-carryover dollar rolling super high 5 in race number 1, and that is the start as well at around 12:55 of the early pick 5. We turn the page. We get to basically the second of 2/3 on the program today. Middle pick 4. Do not forget, we've got 3 4s available on the program.
Yeah, the
Love it.
ever popular middle pick 4, 50-cent wagers. So when we have those 12 races, we offer you 3 pick 4s on the afternoon. You see the Rainbow 6 there, approaching $30,000, and that'll be races 7 to 12 this afternoon.
4 singles alive in Friday's nightcap. It was just that kind of race where they got there with 4 potential jackpot payout horses, and lo and behold, the favorite in the race, Blackjack Baby, winds up winning, tepid 3-1 or 7-2. That horse was not a single, so there you go, almost $30K in the Rainbow 6 pool, and then way down the line in race number 8, that'll kick off the Saturday late pick 5. In fact, you've got a couple of Blewett tickets in both the early and late pick 5 coming your way here momentarily on Gulfstream today. And without further ado, we dive into the first, and we'll give you a little rundown of my ticket. In fact, put in an early pick 5 play a few moments ago, and I'm going to single in race number 3, Still Beautiful. That is a race where it's really tough, I think, to have a strong opinion, but my opinion on her is I think she'll handle the 6.5 furlongs. I think that extra, I really believe that extra 1/16 of a mile from 6 to 6.5 may trip up a number of her rivals in race number 3. So Still Beautiful is the single. I'm using a couple of chalks, the 2 favorites in race number 4. And to start things out, I like a 3-horse spread in a very hotly and tightly contested race on paper. The 6 Escapist, the number 2 horse in More Mia, who if that horse is ready on the drop, he'll be a major player, and I like one of 2 Steve Caceres trained runners in the race in the 8 Athon. But let's get on to the action here, Mr. Ron, in race number 1 today, where you and I, in a real scramble, both picked the number 6 Escapist. I like, obviously, Gaffalione taking the calls. He is in search for his 93rd win, a meet-leading 93rd win this summer at Gulfstream Park, and it's just a better post this go-round.
It's that simple. Breaking from an improved post after departing from an outside slot that day was post 10, making a wide bid and finishing third at this level and distance. You mentioned trainer Murat Sankal, his leading jock, Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. So to me, lots to like. Very early in the wagering, up there at 4-1. I have a sneaky suspicion this horse will be the favorite when the smoke clears.
Yeah, may not be a big favorite. It's just that kind of turf sprint here at 5 furlongs on the grass, an open $10,000 claimer, by the way, in which you've got a legit handful of horses that have back class and some recent form that's pretty good. Recent form isn't really what the Two More Mia has going for him, as he hasn't raced in close to 70 days, but he was very sharp for a few different barns before hitting the sidelines. And if he's ready to roll, dropping in for 10, and I'm not in love with that drop, even though they took him for not much more money for $16K, he should be a handful. And I see you like the number 5, Bonetown Wild, who's not really a 5 furlong turf sprinter, but this horse ran okay at the distance, 2 back at Tampa.
Yeah, 2 back, and he had that wide journey that produced a 6th place finish, beating 3 lengths. It was a 20 optional claimer going a mile. Gerald Bennett doing an excellent job when he shipped down from Tampa to here. Carlos Montalvo in the saddle, and More Mia beating only a half length by Escapist. I think you got to use those 2 on your ticket.
Let's move on to race 2, an all-grass early double to start things out at Gulfstream. We go from 5 out to a mile and a 16th, the distance of race number 2, a 3-and-up $10,000 claiming race. If you get a same or similar, I should say, last out effort to the 5 Stay and Cruise in a race we will show you right now via the spotlight on Gulfstream today from May 27th. Stay and Cruise will win this race. There's not much to see as far as a crazy trip or anything like that. It's just quite simply, he ran very well, attacking the eventual winner, Mr. Sam, from the 3/8 pole home. In the end, he lost a tough one by just a head. The question I have with Stay and Cruise at a short price and a likely favorite for a barn that has yet to win a race on the year is, will he run back to this race? Because for a 5-year-old, I think this effort back on the 27th of May was hands down the best race of his career.
I like the fact that Luca Panici is in the saddle this afternoon. I got him on top, but I'm sort of in agree with you. I don't know if I would single a horse like this, but I think you got to have him somewhere in the mix. But I want to hear about the 7 horse you have in your ticket that I did not use.
Well, this is a horse in D. Shiflett going out for an outfit, cagey outfit as far as the owner and the trainer. They can strike at a price, and it seems like when things are going and the ebb and flow of the game, the yin and the yang, it's when it's on the positive side of things, it seems like they're just very live, one race after another. And I do think they've got a horse who clearly ran well on the turf 2 back at Tampa in late April, and what really swayed me in the direction at a decent price with D. Shiflett. I think this horse is faster than the 6 Wild Poison, and you can come and get D. Shiflett on the lead. I don't think anyone's going to be up to the task. That's who I like. But again, they've got to get around the 5 Stay and Cruise, who you think clearly will run a comparable race to that one's last start on May 27th. We both have the speedy Wild Poison in the race, so we'll be up close in the game. 12-race card. We'll keep the pace going here on GP today. Race number 3, our opener on the dirt. It's a 6.5 furlong, $10,000 maiden claimer. These are 3-and-up fillies and mares. You may not love anybody in this race. It's just that kind of field, and somebody is, of course, going to get that maiden diploma. You are in the same boat I am, and I think going a mile 2 back didn't work out. Trying 7, 2 back, or I should say last out just a couple weeks ago on June 8th, didn't work out. 6.5 against this field might just be the right kind of spot finally for the 3. Still beautiful.
You know, dropping that notch, turning back to 6.5. Blinkers added today. Pressed the pace, finished 4th, going 7. That was a good main track. Grand Edge, Miss Tiz on my ticket. If you look at our selections, we got the same exact superfecta. So
Indeed,
we're thinking alike.
Yep, our runner-up, we hope that will cap a 3-6 exacta. Grand Edge, I just don't know about that one staying the 6.5 furlongs. That extra 16 doesn't seem like it's a lot, but again, once they're out on the track and stamina comes into play, I do think we're going to see a number of horses that just have trouble staying that trip. Moving on to the 4th, another dirt sprint coming your way on this Saturday card, and the weather is just spectacular here. Nice beachy but classy vibe at Gulfstream Park on this Saturday as we get on to this 2 Life that time, 6250 claiming race for 3-year-olds and up. There were very few scratches on today's card. We lost going back to the Sunset Friday program a day ago. There was some short-price defections. Today, it's not really an issue. That being said, we will miss the 3 Grubert, who looked like he might go favorite in this race. With him out, I see you've got the number 4 Starship Menace right on top.
Yeah, I moved this horse up. I did have Grubert on top of the ticket. I thought he was going to sit a perfect speed trip in there. This one, Starship Menace, second at this level and distance on the main track. That was back on June 2nd. He's going back to the dirt. He finished 6th, but it was a 10-2 lifetime claimer, going 5 furlongs on the turf. I think this is a better spot for this horse here. So Starship Menace, as I mentioned, moved up to my top pick in here, but also have the 6 on the ticket, Shot Jack. Solid third on the fast track, 2 starts back. Looks like Mother Nature is going to cooperate this afternoon. He's going to get a fast surface, and I think if anybody's going to beat him, and you got him right on top, it's the 6 Shot Jack beating Starship Menace.
I want somebody who's going to be up close in this race, and I do think when push comes to shove, especially with the apprentice Abby Medina, who Abby and his agent, they do a terrific job getting on live horses. His agent has got him on one live runner after another today. I think Shot Jack is the proverbial speed of the speed, and you can come and get him, much like my pick in the second, D. Shiflett. I'm hoping both those horses early on in this program show their speed and wire their competition in races 2 and 4. We'll move on to race number 5 on the card, 1 mile to 16th. Again, can't stress this enough. We've got 3 pick 4s on the program today, and the middle, the belly pick 4, gets underway with this 12-5 maiden claimer on the turf. 3 and up fillies and mares, they will go a mile and a 16. I felt pretty comfortable picking the one Anthony Lass on top when you spoke about a few seconds ago, Ron. Shot Jack catching that sloppy track, not running well most recently at 6-5. Seems to be a smattering of horses who caught rain-softened turf most recently at Gulfstream that just for whatever reason didn't care for it. And I'm making that argument with the one Anthony Lass because her effort 2 back, I think, puts her squarely in the mix.
Getting the blinkers this afternoon, she dueled and faded. You mentioned 7.5 on the good turf. I went back and I was looking at your selections just before we came on. Did not pick this horse, and I went back. I think I just backed off it because I saw it didn't run very well, but top connections in trainer Angel Rodriguez in there. But I did go with the 4 in here, Easter Act, who's stretching out to a mile in the 16th. Surrendered that 3.5 length lead when beaten the nose by a repeat winner called Alex's Party, and in front of a next out winner called Cotton Princess. That was at 7.5 furlongs. To me, this looks like the logical horse to me. I don't know what this horse is on the morning line, but that's where I was going with Easter
Figures
Act.
to take some play, but again, much like the first, certainly a different class of horses and a longer turf race than the opener today at 5 furlongs, but you can make a legit case with a number of these. The 7 Ghana Dixie seems like a very logical, exact to try super player. We both have that runner in the mix. Filly by Ghana Stray, who's got to get over that string of second place finishes.
She should get the perfect setup this afternoon. Needed to cure that current case of second-itis. I think the setup might help her this afternoon, but had to back off. Got to prove she can get out of that gear and get into the winner's circle. Have her on a ticket. We also both use Classic Tack, stretching out an additional 16 today. Duel throughout, got beat 3/4 going a mile in her last. Harry Benson's got the apprentice in. You just mentioned Abby Medina, so getting a little bit of a wake break there.
Who got his experience aboard Classic Act last time out. Carolyn Hine, the owner, likes seeing those old school skip-away silks, and those will be certainly front and center with Classic Act, who was cut down and wore down most recently by Evil Twin, who was the 9-5 favorite in that maiden claimer a few weeks ago on the Gulfstream turf. It is a stakeless Saturday, and again, just a week out from our huge July 1st Summit of Speed card. But when you go through and start picking apart the lifetime resumes and the current form of the cast in race number 6, you're dealing with the stakes quality group of runners here. There are some fast horses that just hit hard, to be blunt about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing this 5.5 furlong race midway through this 12-race program. And as far as the weather being just a lot nicer than it was for a number of these runners' most recent start, I think topping the list, French Quarter and Extravagant Kid, who were on that Sunday card when all of a sudden it got very dark. We had an intense rainstorm. We were fast and firm. In a flash, we were off the turf. The main track was sloppy, and that stake here on June the 4th was rain to the main track. I thought that would play right into the hands of French Quarter, but as we backtrack with our spotlight on Gulfstream today, and we'll roll the tape, guys, from the starting gate, this was a race in which French Quarter had very little luck. If we can just pause it here, guys, the number 2 horse is French Quarter, the orange cap, and then you've got Extravagant Kid, who's in the blue, down on the inside. Well, let me just clear that. Let's go. We've got Extravagant Kid, there we go, in the blue cap. You really want to keep your eye on the number 2 horse in here, Extravagant Kid, as this was a race in which, and we can roll the tape from there, fellas, thank you very much, where 4-horse field, you would think it'd be almost impossible to get into trouble. Extravagant Kid's able to kind of just steady out mildly, but there you go. I mean, that was a pretty big check and steady and loss of some serious forward momentum for the number 2 French Quarter. And despite that trouble, Ron, he was undeterred. He's able to angle himself outside of the 2 horses battling for the lead, and he puts in a pretty game run down to the finish line, whereas Extravagant Kid, who, if we can pause it here, guys, once again, Extravagant Kid of the 2, clearly down inside, had the much smoother trip, basically just scraping the rail, as we can roll it again as they straighten away.
And as they turn for home, you can see that French Quarter is out there 5 wide, and you know, had to take the worst of it coming through the stretch. I thought ran exceptionally well. That was that sealed sloppy track that afternoon, and thus putting why I put the number 3 French Quarter on top of my ticket.
I think also 5.5. I'm a stout believer that 5.5 for this horse on the dirt overall is just a snugger, better fit than 5 last time, where, not that this is a long sprint or a long race by any means, but that 5 is sort of a real kind of run and gun, giddy up and go, where at least this horse with his natural speed and Tyler Gaffalione riding can just put himself in the game and hopefully have smoother sailing throughout. The 8 Blings Express, I see you don't have him in the top 4. I'm a fan of this horse, who is just a racehorse through and through. Wow. One tough 8-year-old by Too Much Bling out of a Devil Is Due mare. I love the pedigree. Some of my old favorite runners here, and he's out for lifetime win number 20.
Lifetime win number 20. I just thought this was too tough of a spot for him. I have much respect for that horse, but I left him off the ticket today. But I want to give you a horse in this race that I think is going to be a price. I think it's 12-1 or something like that on the morning line, and that's Richard the Great's going to break from the rail. He set a pressured pace. He faded. That was a 7-furlong, $100,000 big drama last time out. Stanley Gold, Edgar Zayas, third start back from an extended layoff. I think that is the key. Third off the bench. Good connections, a little over its head last time out. And here's a horse you're looking for a price.
Yeah, he's going to be a price here. He's going to have to run faster. There's no doubt about it. If he runs his current races, he won't get a sniff. But maybe you're onto something here. A lightly raced, well-connected 5-year-old gelding by Distorted Humor. 2-year-olds coming up. In fact, a race you may want to circle today in Saturday 7th. A live one, including Ron's Rainbow 6, when we come back from this quick timeout.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet, we are racing.
Welcome back. Coming your way from our paddock studios. It's a Saturday edition live of Gulfstream Today. Ron and Jason alongside each other as we dive into the Rainbow 6, my friend. Little carryover to talk about of nearly $30,000, and the 2-year-olds and a live-looking group of youngsters kick off the sequence.
Let's show you my ticket here. Do have a single this afternoon. It comes in race number 8. That's Natrona Girl, I think, is the class of that race, keeping good company. Finished right behind Bitacoro, came back to run a second in the Ginger Punch last Saturday. And you see the rest of the progression, $43.20 and 20 cents, excuse me. You see I went 4 deep in this 2-year-old race here with 1, 2, 3, and 5.
And you may have the 4 they are going to bet, so to speak, where you do have a couple of horses, in fact, 3 that have run prior, including the one Pantyhose, who via the spotlight here on GP Today will look at this runner a daughter of Awesome, of course, her last start on May the 18th, where she ran very well, and this was just a very, very taxing trip with her vying between basically a four-horse battle for the lead around the far turn, and she was never, ever able to take a breather. She, as they all have to go 5 furlongs today in the 7th, Ron, has got the foundation.
She's got the foundation. She dueled throughout, as you mentioned. It was a really tough performance last time out. Pantyhose, a full sister to both the Affirmed Stakes and the Prize Stakes winner, 225, stretches out, as we mentioned here. A couple of promising efforts. You're seeing this one, 4.5 furlongs, 3rd and 2nd, respectively. So she's got the foundation on her side.
Yeah, she's clearly got some quality to her. She's got that early speed, and it's going to take a good firster today, an above-average firster, to deny Pantyhose the win from that inside post as she gets the veteran rider, Cornelia Velasquez, who I love that we have currently riding with us at Gulfstream Park. Moving our way through the field, you've got a firster, the number 2 Prospective Moment for Jose Pinchin, who might be very live with jockey Edgar Zayas. Mark Cassie's got a Debbie Oxley homebred by Malibu Moon, and the 3 Heavenly Love, who might want a bit more ground. We'll see. You've got that horse 3rd. I've got her 4th. And then we both landed and somewhat guessed on the 5 Florida Fuego for probably the obvious reasons. And I can tell you this filly by Cantharos worked a quarter mile at that OBS March 2017 sale in 21-4 when she went for 70 G's.
She's a daughter of Winnie Sire Cantharos, debuting for David Fawkes, who was a strong average. I want to show you a stat on David Fawkes with 2-year-old first-time starters on the dirt, maiden special weight company right here at Gulfstream Park. He's 6 for 35, 17%. 40% in the money. Of course, the $1.22 ROI. They bet him all the time. And I'm just a fan of Cantharos, and they win early, and they're very precocious. So that's why I'm going with the 5 Florida Fuego. And as you mentioned, I guess I got Pantyhose in 2nd. I couldn't even think of leaving this horse off the ticket, and I closed it out with the 3 Heavenly Love, who's the daughter of Malibu Moon, and a half-sister to a grade 2 winner called Forever Darling.
Fair enough. Good to see the Oxley Silks present here at Gulfstream Park, and I just think about last Saturday's opening leg of the big Rainbow Six, where there were some highly touted firsters, but it was Go Astray, who had already run, who had running on our mind once again and dusted that field. Moving on to race number 8, late pick 5 time on this Saturday card. We'll keep the pace going as we bring on these 3 and up filly mare, $30,000 to $25,000 claimers. A brief little and quick little rundown of my late pick 5 ticket, in which we are going to single right off the bat. I love that you've got your Rainbow Six single in here with Natrona Girl. I'm in the other camp with Gaffleone and Angel Rodriguez, and the 2 Sistine Sister. Very difficult 9th race. I'm going to just stand alone with a couple horses we'll elaborate more on in a few minutes. I like the rematch runners, Hammer's Terror and Little Baltar later in the card in race number 10, and very much a fan of Sir Hanoun, who's running in the 11th, who is just razor sharp, man. He has turned into one serious racehorse. You know, the opening leg of this race with Tyler Gaffleone for Calabrese and Angel Rodriguez. Sistine Sister, what you see is what you get. Her recent form is pretty good. We'll give you a quick little spotlight from May the 12th. I thought she ran very well that afternoon, losing at 8-5. She's got that tactical speed where she can pull a good trip and is likely to trip out the way she did on this particular day.
She had to wait for some room there at the quarter pole to get position, but I thought she ran exceptionally well. She was 3rd, going a mile in the 16th. So certainly I singled in here, but if you look at my selection, Sistine Sister prominently placed in my exact, and I went to the outside with part, but Natrona Girl is the horse. Well, watch here, just a game performance. You're getting those top connections with the number 2 Sistine Sister, your single. I love the fact that we got dueling singles in here. Natrona Girl, mine, is dropping into this condition claimer after following a victory in her $35,000 career debut. I thought it was a good performance. Comes back, stalks, weekends, finished 5th. Strong group of 35 optional claimers, including, as I mentioned just earlier, Bitakuro, who was 2nd in the Ginger Punch last Saturday. This horse keeping some good company. That's the reason I'm taking a shot and singling it.
Race number 9, 10K claimers, 5 furlongs on the turf, 3-year-olds and up. This is a landmine, treacherous type of race, I think, for late pick 5 purposes, late pick 4s, which kicks off here in Saturday's 9th, and of course the Rainbow Six. For better or for worse, and you can see Ron and I have a disagreement going as far as our exacta runners, which we welcome and we always like. I am going to use the 4. Whoa, here we go, who's not a dirt horse, and I'm hoping getting back on the turf will run well here, showing speed for Joe Catanese III, and I am a fan of the 9 Policy Portfolio. As far as full disclosure, my first run through, I missed the 7 right up my alley, who I see is a clear favorite on the morning line, and upon further examination, should have been in my top 4.
Yeah, this one is right up my alley. Sick, but a strong third on the turf on the next out winner called Grant Jr. on May 20th, going back to the grass, notched its second career victory, drew off on that sealed sloppy track to defeat. Similar, going about by 5 lengths in that race. So I just go off the 2 back, and this one I think the horse runs very well in there. That's the reason on top of my ticket.
Turfing in race number 10, 1 pick 3 remains, way down the line in the 10th. 3 and up, A other than optional claimer, and a nice rematch. I spoke about a couple of the rematch runners from May 10th and giving my late pick 5 ticket a few moments back, and we'll backtrack again with the spotlight to the 6th race on May the 10th, a day we had talked about, or we've talked about ad infinitum, that the turf course was very, very speed friendly. Now the 4 horse, Little Baltar, that is, if we could just pause it there, guys, very easy to spot in the previous Carlo Vaccarezza silks, the orange and the black stripes. Hammer's Terror, in the meantime, is just starting to put in a run. He's the number 7, and he was towards the back of the pack. We can roll it, boys, as they straighten away. As far as the better trip on this particular day, May 10th, it went to the 4 Little Baltar. Got an amazing ride from C.J. McMahon. If we can stop it once again, guys, real quick, Hammer's Terror way up against the flow of the race, and I think a biased turf course. He ran gigantic and checking in a narrowly beaten 3rd. I like him in the rematch. You, however, are going to go where Tyler Gaffleone went, and that's Little Baltar.
Changing barns, going to the Angel Rodriguez barn, runs for the 25 tag in this optional claimer, which what this barn does. Just got beat that whisker by, the speedster Charlie Mops. I just thought it was a great race the last time out, so I went with Little Baltar. Hammer's Terror had a race since that race.
And ran well. And he's now with trainer Mike Maker, and he is a major player, hands down, in race number 10. Late double begins, race number 11. It's a good one late in the program. Florida bred, A other than allowance race for 3-year-olds and up. I spoke about my newfound affection for Sir Hanaud back in giving out the pick 5. I wrestled with singling him here in race number 10, but I will also use Ron's top pick front loaded. We are starting to run out of time, so we'll skip the spotlight on Sir Hanaud. But truth be told, and what you see is what you get with this runner on paper. He's just been so sharp after being claimed for 62.50.
Yeah, now in the Ulysses Matos barn, they had a win yesterday. Yep. Consistent gelding, cuts back. The reason you like it, notched his 3rd consecutive victory. He defeated those $10,000 optional claimers going a mile in his last.
What's the stat here with front loaded, who should run well, and you get the classic horsemanship with Jose Pinchin, which is why I really like this horse. Big forward move, going turf to dirt, 2nd off the layoff. This, however, not a great stat.
Yeah, not a great stat. I wanted to point that out. He's only 5 for 44, 11%, 36% in the money, 63-cent return of investment. It's cautionary, but if you look, still have front loaded on top of my ticket. I'm going to try and beat Sir Hanaud, and I think we'll end up being the big favorite in there.
It feels like maybe, and Sir Hanaud may take another step forward for all we know, because he's been so good and better than ever. But if you were going to circle one horse in the 11 today who was really going to improve or still has some serious peaking to do, I think it would be front loaded, who's just a 3-year-old, a May Foe, who's really in a nice groove for trainer Jose Pinchin. We'll wrap things up here with 27 minutes out. We'll get Pete Aiello on momentarily. We'll do the last quickly. Well, 1, 6, 10. Box them up and key the 7 for 4th in the Super. It's an easy game, my friend.
That's what I mean. 7 horse, my long shot today. I don't know what price you're going to get on him. I think that's the logical 4 in the nightcap.
Mr. Palm Beach is the Nicoletti Bomb.
Nicoletti Bomb today. I don't know what he is on the morning line attending. I just like
50 to 1.
No.
Yeah.
I like his breeding, and I just think that the barn does good going dirt to turf. So we'll see how that horse.
We love those Giapontis. We also love Pete Aiello. He'll be up next with that opening set of Saturday scratches and changes right here at Gulfstream Park. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you before the 1st.